Hi guys, my name is Mugdha and today we are going to be talking about serial killers. Some basic info. A serial killer is a person who commits a series of murders, often with no apparent motive and typically following a characteristic, predictable behavior pattern. Some well known serial killers are Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer, the Zodiac Killer, and Jack the Ripper. So the first signs of serial killers are at infancy. So without proper love and affection, they will suffer a multitude of personality disorders. They develop a sense of independency, lose their ability to feel remorse, sympathy, and affection, which shows a lack of growth in the amygdala. Commonly happens when their relationships with mothers are impaired and they end up taking their anger out on females because females represent the lack of motherly figure in their life. Childhood trauma also affects the mind. 42% suffered physical abuse, which changes the brain structure and the chemical balance in the brain, specifically the cortex, which is involved in self awareness. So, this is the psychodynamic theory. Sigmund Freud believed that humans had three aspects of personality: id, ego, and superego. They lose sight of their ego and superego and are led by wants instead of morals and emotion. So they're often led by their id, which is primitive and animalistic, and these needs drive them to do and commit the murders that they committed. An example is David Berkowitz, also known as Son of Sam. He's an example of childhood neglect, which led to the id overdrive. The id overdrive is basically a theory in which the id controls too much of you to the point where there is no turning back and that is all you go off of. The Son of Sam's MO was that he struck out at women, specifically with dark, long, flowy hair, very similar in style to his mother. This is the organized disorganized theory. This is a continuation of the psychodynamic theory. Serial killers who exhibit this theory are often extremely organized by bringing a weapon with them and cleaning up. This was exhibited by Ted Bundy, who was very careful but made one mistake his which led to him being found out and whatnot. They're often socially inadequate and have an above average IQ. So they're very smart and often fool you into thinking that they're caring and remorseful and that they can show emotions. This most often is the result of being physically neglected as a child, which heavily affects the brain chemical balance. So, some serial killer tendencies is a lack of empathy and remorse, which is a psychological disorder. They are smooth talkers, but are often very dissociated. So, you'll see them look around a lot, or they seem too nice to be true on when you meet them for the first time. They're often also very egotistical, which is because they have a lack of social skills. Therefore, they think of themselves as better than the rest of us. They are manipulative, which is a psychological disorder. Again, they don't really show emotions or they have shallow emotions. Again, a psychological disorder. And they have poor behavior control, which is a psychological disorder. So now we're going to be talking about specific serial killers and what is wrong with their brain. So first we're going to talk about Ted Bundy. Bundy lacked empathy and remorse, but was charming and cunning, which allowed him to gain victims. Even though he had a lack of social skills and could not care for anyone, he was smart and he could put on a persona, and this was because his mind allowed him to put on a persona. He allowed himself to put this on, therefore, allowed him to gain access to these victims. And he is a power serial control killer. Basically, he thrives off of exhibiting power over other people. And The surprising thing is, when psychologists studied him, he came away clean, which means that he showed no signs of psychological issues, basically saying that he is extremely smart and knows exactly how to cover up these psychological issues that he harbored. So he often exhibited compartmentalization, which is the act of identifying the difference between fantasies and reality. In this, Bundy brought his fantasies to life by utilizing compartmentalization. So the interesting thing is, there is nothing wrong with Bundy's brain, but he physically developed these issues within himself. Next, we're going to be talking about Jeffrey Dahmer. He was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, schizotypal personality, and psychotic disorder, but was legally sane at trial. Personality disorder disassociates you from your emotions and other emotions, so he had a hard time managing his self image, behavior, and relationships. This inflicted, this upon him inflicted paranoia, social anxiety, and unconventional beliefs. And with these disorders, he attempted to turn his victims into unresponsive but breathing zombies. And with every failed attempt, he would try more and more and more. Now we have Jack the Ripper, and he's a classical disorganized killer. He leaves blood and fingerprints. But due to the time period, there was no way to do DNA testing or fiber testing or match fingerprints, so he did get away with it in the end. So he was supposed to be a paranoid schizophrenic who feared or hated women due to social anxiety he got when interacting with them. Again, this is supposed. The extreme mutilation of his victim shows the possible fantasies Cohen has about what he wants to do to women. All of this, again, proving on that there is a chemical imbalance in his brain which does not allow him to have sympathy or remorse. Wrapping up, most serial killers have psychological disorders and schizophrenia, which makes them act out. These disorders cause people to have lack of emotions, empathy, and making them lack remorse and act out upon the evil thoughts they have. Thank you so much for watching this video, and make sure to check out more videos from Girls 7 Empowerment. Have a great day.